And we're back.
Yay!
Yeah. Ooh, I've been waiting for this one, Mr. David Marks.
No different than any other one, though.
Oh, this one's just going to top them all off today. You guys are in for a treat. You listeners, anybody watching us, welcome to the Auto Authorities Podcast. My name is Jay Grossman. I'm the founder and CEO of iAutoAgent. We are real estate agents for cars. We have integrity, and that's what the I in iAutoAgent stands for. We will help you sell your vehicle at no cost to you. We'll do everything from the marketing, showing, and listing your vehicle, and you never meet face-to-face with any strange people. And nationwide, we will help you buy a car and not have to navigate through that sticky process from buying a new or used car. You call iAutoAgent.com and we'll help you out. And this is Mr. David Marks with Quality Auto STL, trusted services with no surprises. He and his company have integrity. Why are we talking about integrity so much, Mr. David Marks?
Well, there's a couple companies, one in particular that's been in the news that forgot to look that word up in the dictionary.
Oh, yeah. And are you ready to do this?
Absolutely.
Have you ever felt like you were taken for a ride when buying, selling, or repairing your car? Well, not anymore. I'm Jay.
And I'm Dave.
And this is the podcast that tells you what to watch out for, whether you're buying, selling,
or repairing your car.
With 47 years of automotive experience, we are the Automotive Authorities. This podcast is sponsored by iAutoAgent. We're real estate agents for cars.
And Quality Auto STL, trusted services with no surprises.
Boom.
Booyah!
Oh, we are back to the Auto Authorities Podcast, and we have Carvana and Vroom
on trial.
Oh, yeah, they are on trial. And they're on trial.
They're on court auto authorities.
And I was going to say they're on trial with us, but they're on trial with the nation. And when you find out what we are going to share with you today, you may think twice about wanting to go to one of these Carvanas or Vroom kind of companies. Oh, yes. And this is part 2. So just to catch you up, here in a second, we're going to catch you up to what we talked about in part 1. And we're going to go right into part 2 because we're going to get into more about Carvana and Vroom and are they going to collapse? But before we begin, I would like to thank one of our sponsors, the Get Podcastified. That's actually their tagline, Get Podcastified. I got to say that right. Podcastify.me is our sponsor. They make this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful show happen once a week for you, and we love it, and they do such a great job. Just go to podcastify.me if you want your own podcast like us.
Yeah, we don't know what the hell we're doing.
No, we just show up. And if you are listening, we have 19 different channels, iTunes, we have Pandora, Amazon, you name it. Please leave us a review. We'd love to hear what you think about the Auto Authorities Podcast. On YouTube, just click the subscribe button, the notification button. You'll be notified every single podcast once a week. And then we go live on the Facebook group page. You just click the join group button, the Auto Authorities Podcast. And then you get to see our pretty little faces live, 12 p.m. Central Time on Tuesdays.
Can't think of a better way to take a lunch break on Tuesday than watch us.
And you know why we do this? We do this because we love you guys. We want to share our gift with you. My gift of almost 26 years in this business. And how many years you've been doing your business?
I'm up to 23 now.
Yeah. You're catching up to me. So here's the whole thing is we want to educate you and help you make an educated decision. And what we talk about today I highly recommend that you do your own research, do your own Google searches. But I will say this today, right now, you've heard it from me. These are all facts that we're going to share with you today. And let's get right into it. So we talked about Carvana last time, going out of business potentially. They fired 2,500 workers over Zoom, and now there's allegations saying that several workers in that group were not only fired, not just fired Zoom, but they had a voice message literally that was sent to them and they they deny it, of course. But when you have a convicted ex-con that owns or started Carvana, that is a problem. Probably not somebody you want to work for, huh?
No, I read a little bit about that, and it's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
We've all made mistakes, but that was let me see what I can get away with.
Absolutely.
Got caught.
Now we get into part 2 here. And speaking of the people, now these people are coming forward and they're talking to magazines like Forbes magazine. And I'm going to read this directly from the article. It always seemed like no one ever had a real game plan or reasoning behind the decisions they made when it came to policy changes or additional training, said one former call center worker. It was always someone's quick idea, and that would be put into place with no additional planning. And then you've got another piece of this article here. Similar claims form the basis of a recent class action lawsuit filed against Carvana in Pennsylvania. Now listen to this. The suit alleges that Carvana violated Pennsylvania's unfair and deceptive trade practices by issuing temporary registrations and improperly collecting registration and license fees. Carvana's failure to timely register the cars as it promised and receive money to do sometimes for a period exceeding 2 years.
Wow.
Causes consumers to be questioned, sometimes arrested by law enforcement while driving the temporary registered cars, the lawsuit states. There were people that were arrested because they could not provide titles or proper registration.
Pennsylvania, just what I translate out of that is the Pennsylvania state statute means that when somebody buys a car from a dealer, that dealer is responsible for registering it for them, so that way when they acquire it for the dealer, they're good to go. They just drive, unlike here in the state of Missouri.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine buying a car
and then getting arrested? I hope they lose their ass off on that.
I do too. And this is even making me more upset than I was.
The state of Pennsylvania revokes their license. Just say, no, you can't do this. You're not going to do this to our citizens. No.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wrong. And guess what? They don't give a shit.
No.
If they gave a shit, they would have changed it.
We wouldn't be talking about them.
They didn't do it. And this is what happens again when you are working with a company without integrity. I
wouldn't have my license if I did that. The state of Missouri yanked mine.
Yes. So here's another piece from the same article. A former Carvana car hauler added that the company failed to provide enough trucks to complete deliveries, and that as a result, customers were sometimes asked to pick up their new cars, or Carvana employees drove the purchased cars to their customers. The company a lot of times prioritized getting more bodies in the company to prepare for future sales growth rather than actually building the infrastructure to handle that type of sales volume, the ex-employee said.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just driving cars to people. I mean, dude, here's the thing. Let's put it bottom line, right?
Yeah, what happened to that vending machine?
Yeah. All they have is a glorified dealership. It's never it's nothing different. They decided to have a vending machine as a gimmick that cost them massive amounts of money, and let's face it, they spend more money than they make. You see these pretty Carvana commercials. Oh, it's so easy. It's so easy. Yeah, is it? Are you gonna how do you get a hold of them? Oh, you get to call up there and you get to go talk to a call center and wait online for 30 minutes to an hour for someone to answer your phone. And then nobody knows what's going on when they answer the phone. There's massive. I mean, I literally read, I couldn't even, there were so many reviews I read, Mr. David Marks. It was insane.
That's just crazy. I mean, I read that article you shared on Facebook. I was like, wow. Like, how are they still in business?
Yeah, I mean, the state of Illinois says, "Hey, you can't do business here anymore.
I'm
Goodbye."
surprised more states haven't stepped up and done that.
Well, I think that they're going to, and it's just kind of like in anything, it's monkey see, monkey do. Once somebody sets that precedent, then they're gonna go back. There's
Yeah,
other
because
states
what was it? The Secretary of State in the state of Illinois that said, "Nah, you're done doing business with our citizens."
Well, I have some inside information from the state of Missouri, so I know a lot of the higher ups.
I'd like to know how they have one in Missouri, because you got to have a brick and mortar in the state of Missouri to have a dealer's license. I do.
Well,
Where's their brick and mortar? Or I'm sorry, it's the state statute on the Missouri Department of Revenues is a bona fide place of business.
yeah,
Where's the bona fide place of business? You gotta have to have a sign viewed to the public.
I think if you have enough of this, that statute might go away. And I'm holding up like play money in my hand right now.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, because when you read the dealer manual on the Missouri Department of Revenue's website, it says you must have a bona fide place of business.
Yep.
Well, where's their brick and mortar at? Where's the sign at that can be easily seen from any public road?
Well, and I know also one of the heads of the Department of Revenue. I got some inside information that they are in massive trouble with the state of Missouri also. Massive. And
Is their license getting revoked in Missouri?
I would not be surprised. I really truly think that there's no way that they're going to survive this. And truly, once people like let's be smart, right? As consumers, whenever we go somewhere, what do we do first before we either buy or use somebody's service?
We go to Google and look at the reviews.
Bingo.
Or Facebook. One of the two.
Or Yelp or Better Business Bureau or any of those places. When people start seeing the company that they're dealing with, that will be their demise.
And the other demise is going to be ADESA. That's never going to work. I've read too many other dealers on LinkedIn say we're done doing business with ADESA. So a friend of mine works for JM Family Enterprises. JM Family Enterprises is an independent distributor for Toyota in the five southeast states. Toyota has two independent distributors, by the way, in the country. And the biggest one is Southeast Toyota, and they will not do business with ADESA because of this. They sell 20% of the Toyotas in the nation, and they're not going to do business with ADESA anymore because of this.
Well, just to let everybody know, we had talked about in part one about ADESA Auto Auction was bought by Carvana after they had fired 2,500 people via Zoom or pre-recorded messages on their phone.
It didn't work.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really sad. That's exactly what it is. I also want to talk about this. They interviewed a professor, Daniel Taylor of the Wharton School of Business, and these are his exact quotes. And this is a smart guy. He goes, "What I'm saying is the Garcias who started Carvana knew it was short-lived," says Wharton School professor Daniel Taylor. The Garcias knew the music would eventually end. You know what? You know what this is? You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of somebody that did something very, very bad. They go to court and they get their ass nailed. Justice prevails. So, are you ready? Are you ready to talk about Vroom?
Yeah, I actually don't know a lot about them, surprisingly. I mean, all I hear is Carvana this, Carvana that on LinkedIn and other platforms.
Well, we're gonna get into Vroom, and I think Vroom might actually be a worse company than Carvana. I know it's hard to believe.
I didn't think that was possible. You told me
I
that
didn't
too.
either. I didn't either. But all I have to do is go into my Google search, and you find out real quick. But before we get to that, I wanted to thank everybody for listening to the Auto Authorities podcast. We really appreciate you. Please leave your comments below. We want to hear what you think. What do you think about all this? Would you do business with somebody like that? What do you do when you go out and buy something? Do you go look at reviews? Leave us some comments. Go to the AutoAuthorities.com, theautoauthorities.com, and you can leave us comments. You can watch all of our past episodes. And if you're on YouTube, you can go to YouTube and watch our past episodes and just click the the subscribe button. And if you're on Facebook, go to the Facebook group page and click the join button. Now we're going to get into Vroom. So how does Vroom work? Wouldn't you like to know? Well, I'm going to say it's a copycat of Carvana because they started in 2013. Carvana started in 2012. And basically what Vroom is you go online, you pick the car, they deliver it, and they give you no test drives, but they give you a return type of policy. Within 7 days or 250 miles, you can return your vehicle, which sounds really great. You could just test drive it. But what they don't tell you is there's a $599 restocking fee if you turn your car back in.
Ooh.
How many people do you think they're actually turning their car back in, but they don't like it?
I bet 60% off the top of my head.
Oh, 60%? No. I think it's like less than 10%, because what they're going to do is they're probably, if there's a problem with the car, which I have some great stories, by the way, we're going to have story time today, Mr. David Marks. So, what they're doing is they will fix the things. But again, like there's so many stories, but you have to call up to a call center, and there are people that can't even get anybody to answer their phone. Like you call up there, and nobody talks to you. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So yeah, you have to pay another $599 just to send your car back if you don't like it. When I get into the stories, wait till you hear some of the crap that they're selling.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And let's go into an article, and I'm gonna say this right now, verbatim from the article. This is an article from CBS. More than 4,700 formal complaints have been filed by Vroom customers with the Better Business Bureau, and the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles has issued Houston-based company more than 80 violations since 2019, leading to 59 cease and desist orders. CBS article, another one, the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles recently issued Vroom a $47,000 fine for 47 counts of not transferring a vehicle title in accordance with Florida law. Yes.
How are these companies in business? I'm surprised these states just haven't said no. Go somewhere else. Go to Russia and pull this shit with Putin and his citizens.
Absolutely. They talked to the Better Business Bureau. Mr. Parsons said his office receives multiple complaints about Vroom daily. It sounds like they're just fed up with them. You know?
Wow.
He says
daily. That's bad. I mean, that takes a lot of effort and initiative, by the way.
Listen to this. So the same person, Mr. Parsons, the Better Business Bureau. There is no other company in my database that racks up as many complaints as Vroom. He said Texas DMV shares the frustration of Texas consumers who spend a significant amount of money to purchase a vehicle, but encounter problems when dealers do not follow the law to transfer the vehicle title. We investigate every complaint and take action to assist with resolution of issues on a daily basis. Guess what their Better Business Bureau rating is? Just take a guess.
A 1, 2.
What do you think it is in the? I'm going to say that in a second, but what do you think it is as far as the letter grade?
A Z.
Yeah, if there was a Z, right? So you have to really try hard with Better Business Bureau to get anything less than an A+. You have to try really hard. They have an F, Better Business Bureau rating.
F for failure.
But listen to this. This is a bombshell. They have 1,194 reviews at a 1.212 out of 5. Holy cow. I mean, what is going on? Like, come on, people. Look at the reviews before you do business. You're not buying a little piece of electronic device. You're buying a car.
Yeah, I might spend what's the average used car today? Like $25,000 or something?
I think it's 27.
Yeah,
now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's people's, to the average American, it's their second biggest expense behind a house.
Absolutely.
And they're doing it business with these. Oh my God.
Listen to this. Listen with the Yelp. So I looked up Yelp. 1.5 out of 5 with 895 reviews. It just goes on and on and on. Are you ready for story time?
Yeah, this I gotta hear.
Okay, everybody. Are you ready for story time? Let me hear you.
Story time.
Okay, all right. So gather around. So one of my clients, and this was actually a couple years ago, he was like, so he had already bought this before he actually met iAutoAgent. Once he had bought it, he had contacted us because he wanted to get a warranty for his vehicle. And he said, so it was a Toyota Land Cruiser. It had 7,000 miles on it. It was like almost brand new.
Wow.
The thing shows up, couple things. Missing headrests. Okay.
7,000 miles, it's missing the headrest?
Missing a key fob.
Only one key fob?
It gets better. There's damage on like the outside of the car. It's black.
Well, black shows everything.
Mm-hmm. And then the windshield had some type of coating on it where he couldn't even see out of the windshield. But yet they claim that they have all these amazing cars that go through all these checks.
Yeah.
Bullshit. And so my client was so pissed off. But just like I said, how many people do you think send their vehicle back? They don't. So he had to call up there and fight with them to try to, I don't even remember what the result was on that, but he was very, very upset. And another one of my clients just did business with Vroom before I met them, of course, and had another horrible story. But this isn't even as bad as some of the other stuff that we're getting as far as when you look at the reviews. Number one, now Texas is suing Vroom over its quote, extremely shady sales practices.
Why don't they just can't put them out of business? Like instead of suing, say
Right.
You're done in the state, because people don't realize Texas is one of the largest automotive markets in the country. It's the largest truck market.
Here's something, and I'm gonna leave a couple bombshells here in a second. but they're accused of selling wrecked vehicles without disclosing repairs, never delivering vehicle titles, and more. Vroom over major issues, including alleged title delays and misrepresented vehicle histories. Here's the bombshell. Buyer buys a vehicle from Vroom, notices it's a flood damaged vehicle. Listen to this. Fought with Vroom. They bought the vehicle back from them. Okay. Sounding good, right? Only to find out that the consumer that had the flooded vehicle saw that Vroom was selling that vehicle and relisted on the website after he sent it back. Holy cow.
Wow.
You're stunned, aren't you? I don't hear you quiet very often.
Yeah, I don't know how they're still in business. How come these states just haven't one by one say, nope, you're done. Nope, because dealer licenses is a state by state by state. It's not a federal license, it's a state issue license. So me and Jay, our licenses is between us and the state of Missouri, not the federal government. So I don't know how these states just haven't just said no, like Texas, no, we're not suing you. We're putting you out of business. You're not going to screw our citizens.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just dumbfounded. I can see how the damaged vehicles, because I mean, you know, the rental car companies, when they sell their wrecked stuff that people have bought their insurance on, those aren't on Carfax, by the way, or auto check.
oh, I know.
So I can see easily how that might even happen without maybe even Vroom knowing. I could see that to a degree. That's the only way that they could really get away with misrepresenting a vehicle. I guess kind of half-ass ethically.
Well, I'll tell you this: if their multi-point check that they claim that they do on every vehicle, Dave, if you see a flood damage vehicle, if it's flood damage, you can tell. You have a trained eye. Well, they should have people, maybe not to your caliber, but close, looking over the vehicles and like, hey, oh, okay, we have a flood damage vehicle here. Well, listen to this too. So I call this call center hell. There are people that are literally trying to get a hold of them. Nobody calls them back. Nobody answers their phone. There are people that even said that like they wanted to speak to the manager and they would refuse to let them speak to the manager or any supervisor.
Because there is nobody.
Yeah. Yeah, my name is Willie.
Yeah,
I'm the manager at Vroom.
So I guess because I with the flood vehicles, I've never attempted this because I have integrity. Is that if you buy vehicles flood damage or salvage, if you retitle it in multiple states, eventually that goes away and you bring it back to the original state, then you can sell it with an unbranded title.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing too. They buy cars too, just like Carvana. Just like Carvana, there are people that are not receiving their money. So they're giving them their car, they're giving them their title, and they're not getting their money. Now, I know how it is at AutoAgent. Our clients want the money. Like as soon as we sell that vehicle, they want their money. They're like putting these people off for a long time. I mean, there was so many different reports of, weeks and months and days. I mean, just all across the board. And then imagine this: their stock is at $1.45 now.
Wow.
I'm ready for these guys to go bye-bye and let companies and they sit there and rip on dealers. And granted, there's a lot of dealers out there that should not be in business either.
We talked about one about a month ago.
Yes, but there also are good dealers that actually do things the right way. And like, they
don't have a brick and mortar, so they feel they can get away with what they want because who do you complain to?
Yeah, but
brick and mortar, you can go down there and say boom, 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 But with these guys, you can't.
No, You can't go down the street, and it's so frustrating to call these call centers and nobody answers your phone. Nobody calls you back. You don't talk to the same person every single time. It's so frustrating. But I think I've said my piece. You have anything else to add?
I'm just speechless, Jan, under all this. I don't know how this is still. I wouldn't be in business. I'd be done. If I pulled any of this stuff, I'd be done.
Oh, well, we all would. It's all about money. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us on the Auto Authorities podcast. Please comment, share below with your friends, family members. Let us know what you think. We want to hear. We'll respond to you personally. Anyway, have a good one, Mr. David Marks, and I'll see you
Jay. Bye, everybody.
next week.